I failed the John Monash test 2 times. I didn't get into the Melbourne High or the selective schools once as well. So that's 3 major exams failed before I even got into VCE. Hi, I'm Sid. I got an ATAR of 99.55 and I was the dux of my school. Welcome to my home. I'm so excited.
How you feeling?
Feeling good, feeling good. Kind of cozy, I would say. Since you're doing like tens of sacks throughout the year, there's bound to be one that you're not really happy with. When that happened, it's not as simple as just positive self-talk because you really feel like, oh no, it might all be over. And when you have that feeling of, what am I even gonna do? You need to have something that you can bounce back on that isn't planning or that isn't positive self-talk, because sometimes you're just too overwhelmed to do any of that. So I went down into my garage and played some soccer by myself. Had music in the background, just kicked the ball to the wall and just like give myself like a reset. Having like a getaway that's close to home, something that's really easy to do that you can rely on to help kind of bring you back up. This is my study space. This is where I did most of my work during year 12. I think the key is planning. What I do is at the end of every week, I would sit down on a Sunday night and I would plan out exactly what I'm doing every day for the rest of the week, just on my notes app with the little tick boxes that you can kind of open up. For example, it'd be in period 2, I want to tick this off. In period 3, I want to tick this off. And then when I come home, I would have something like from 4 to 6:30, do a chemistry practice exam, life-changing stuff. It's a bit funny, like mum used to always say, like, don't study on your bed, like it's not good for you, you're gonna hurt your back. I mean, I did hurt my back, but also it was just more relaxing. I felt like it took this stress away from it. I was able to relax, but also do something that felt like work. It might not have been like the most productive thing in the world, but it worked for me. My bed was always there for me, so that was really good. I think 3 to 4 hours a day during the weekdays. But of course, there would be some days where I'm like, I'm so tired, I'm exhausted, I would only do 2. Or some days I wouldn't do any at all. And what I would do is, to compensate for that, I would move some hours over to the next day. I think consistently 3 hours is better than 8 hours on one day. Because at the start of year 11 and at the start of year 10, I didn't consider myself as a really academic person. I just felt like I failed a lot. Like it was first the 2 John Monash exams and then the Melbourne High exam. And then I used to play soccer really competitively and I wanted to go really far in it. And I didn't. I needed to channel all that negative energy into something. And year 12 gave me the perfect opportunity to do that. That was my like underlying motivation. I wanted to prove myself wrong and prove to myself that I can do it. I can actually succeed in something that I put my mind towards. I think the main kind of lie would have been in relation to VCE English. I go into year 12 and English destroyed me. It was like the hardest thing I've ever done. I was always telling my parents, I'm really good at English. English is gonna be my best subject. It took me a second to be like, this could be really bad if I don't get help. I actually didn't openly tell my parents that I need help with English until I got to almost term 3 of year 12, which is when I told my parents I need to probably get a tutor or something, which I ended up doing and it really worked out for me. Just, I think, be open with your parents about whatever help that you need throughout the year. Mainly at home, in my room, or out in the dining table. It's a huge misconception that you need to have the most perfect situation or setup to be able to study. I know so many people would be like, oh, let's drive to the library. Let's go find like this really nice aesthetic view. I do think it's another form of procrastination that people do. It's like, they want to put off studying, so they try and find the most ideal place to study. If you can kind of get out of that mindset of, oh, I need to have the perfect environment, it just needs to be good enough for us to get some real work done. Tutoring is something that a lot of families are afraid of. They're like, oh, why does my son or daughter need extra help? Like, are they not good enough? It's not a reflection of your skills or how smart or dumb you are. It's more so a reflection of, you need help? Let's try and enhance your abilities even more. So as long as you have that right mindset and that feeling of, I can do this, tutoring is just gonna help take you to that next level. After deciding to quit soccer, I don't think I've cried so much for anything else. I think it was just like emotional, sort of like a breakdown type of thing that happened a few times. They're really sweet. They made me feel really comfortable and just like, again, it's all gonna work out. I've just heard it's all gonna work out so many times that it sort of became my own mantra. But yeah, I'm really happy with being vulnerable with the people who kind of love and support me. So as a year 12 student, boy or girl who's in year 12, it's okay to be open and just like feel emotions. It's okay. I had difficulty like breathing super freely and easily. I felt like I was really tensed up before my exams. To deal with that, mum's like, okay, you gotta meditate. So we were just sitting down on the floor in one of the rooms cross-legged, and it was like some deep breathing exercise, and we just burst out into laughter every like couple minutes because I just thought it was outrageous. I was like, I never thought I would see myself doing this, but it really helped. When I'm studying, it was a strict no music policy, just because I need to think and work stuff out, and I feel like I couldn't do that when I have something playing in the back of my mind. Yeah, no music for me when I'm studying. I had every Friday night fully off, spend time with family or friends, make sure that I keep those relationships intact, because at the end of the day, some things are more important than just school, and I really valued my friendships. Hanging out with friends is an absolute must during year 12 because it's your last year at high school. You want to have those friendships and relationships fully intact. It shouldn't be something that we compromise on. I think most students, what we do is we all do practice exams and practice questions. So what do you do with those practice questions? What we can do is we can make this sort of error logbook, which is what I did for VCE Chem. It's about 140 pages in a document of questions that I just got wrong throughout the year. Everything that I'm gonna lose, it's here. This is where I get all my marks back. Whether it's a Word doc or an app that you have, as long as you've got a document with screenshots of questions, there you go, you've got an error logbook. The main app that I used was GoodNotes. GoodNotes is just an amazing app. It just allows you to handwrite your notes and keep it all in the same spot. So I just carried this thing around school all day. This is all I needed. Did my notes and my practice questions on there, all of them. Believe it or not, public school versus private school is a conversation that I've had with my family. I also went and interviewed at a few private schools, and I also got a few offers as well from them. And we were talking at home and we decided, nah, I'm gonna stay at Highvale. I'm gonna stay with the friends that I've made. And we decided to trust in my ability to make it happen from a public school. There's this stigma that surrounds the public schools versus the private schools that at a public school, you won't do well. It's not true. The way to succeed at a public school is to always focus on your rank. Your SACs are so important for that. In a public school, make sure that you end up getting the same result as you would if you had gone to a private school. I think you're expecting me to say something like a phone or an iPad or a laptop, but my favorite tool in my room is my printer. All my practice exams were printed on this thing, hundreds and hundreds of practice exams and questions, so this is my favorite tool. I think the two biggest takeaways I would give for any student who really wants to do well would be to plan out your weeks really well. And the second thing would be to always stay confident and trust yourself. I think both of those things together is definitely a recipe for success.